This is Chapter 8, Part 4. I want to talk to you about the C strings, which is a character array. Just definition-wise, character array, an array whose component are type char. So C strings are null, terminated by \0s with it. All right, so it's a character array. So if you look at it, if it's in a char, and which is character A. If you put this in this is an apostrophe, will give you an A. In a quotation is the C string of an A with this thing. And if you represent the two character, is that you would actually do an apostrophe and a \0 with this thing. So both of these strings are examples of a C string array with this thing. So when you actually have, it stores a null character in what this is doing. It's storing a null character where ch is the char variable. A null character is basically represented by \0 with it. So that's what 0. That's what there's nothing in there. That's non-printable. That's what a null character is. It's something you can't print. Okay, so that's the C string with this thing. Take a look at the C string. If I have a char with a name with size 16, since the C string are null, terminated, and name has 16 components, the largest the string can have is 15 character. Remember now, this starts out with what? Counting with 0. Okay, so why we keep on asking, why do they always start with counting zeros with this thing? Computers don't have digits like we do. You know, they don't have numbers and all that, so they have to initialize everything by definition and starting with 0 at the same. So it's always one less. Keep in mind that if we're talking about the components or elements or positions, it's always referred as it's one less with the same. You can store a string whose length is less than the array size. The last component are unused. So let's take a look at the size of an array can be omitted if the array is initialized during the declaration. So the size of an array, I don't have to give it a size. If I initialize this to John in a quotation, this is the size of the array with the same. Declares that array length 5. What is 5? I start with J as element 0, 1, 2, 3. Okay, so I can actually store in this as length with this length. But how they get this thing 5? Did I start with 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5? So useful string manipulation function is string copy, string compare, and string length. We're going to talk about these methods in a second, these functions here in a second. Okay. So there's a wonderful table that we're going to look at. I'm going to go over some of these things on table 8-1, string copy, string length, and string functions with the same. So take a look at some of these things. C strings are compared character by character using the collating sequence of the system with the same. So use the function string compare. All right. So if you look at on page 537, in your book, on page 537, computer's not behaving properly with this. On page 537, you're going to see some variable that's comparing. So if you look at, for example, okay, it returns a value less than 0 if string 1 is less than string 2. Return 0 if string 1 and string 2 are the same, meaning true or false. It's going to return a less than 0 and greater than 0 if the string 1 is greater than string 2. So as a reference point, you got to look at this right here. All right. So let me zoom in to talk about some of the stuff. So you got to have your C string library file. This is the C string library file. If you remember before, we've been using is the string library file. This is the C string library file. String comparison by ASCII collating. Let's assume that we have an ASCII character table. We're going to use this. Air is less than boat, because the first character in air is less than the first character in boat. Well, how do I know what am I talking about? If you can, I'm going to flip to this page, and back of your book there's an ASCII table. It's appendix appendix 2, appendix C on page 1519. And if you look at page 1519, which I can't get to there right now with this, appendix C is what I'm looking for. ABCD, this one. So if you look at that table that I was looking at right now, and you look at air and boat, okay, A is what? You read row, and column is number 65. Can you see that? Row is 6, column is 5, so its value is 65. And you look at uppercase B, that's 66. So right off the bat, what this is saying is, if I go back to that page 537, is that saying that air is less than boat. Okay, so just go through here and read through this whole thing, and you would understand what I'm talking about. It's basically comparing one by one with this thing. Okay, so that's what on page 537 is about with it, and it's comparing if that returns true for 1, returns a 0 as a for false with this. All right, so character set. That's what that's about. Most of the rules array apply to C string, which are character arrays. Aggregation operations such as assignment and comparison are not allowed on arrays. C++ allows aggregated operation for the input and output of C strings with this. For example, you can actually read in a name, stores in the next C string into the name. You can actually do a method called get. All right, to read a string with a blank, you can do a get function. This is the get function, and has the string, and you store the next character, character, into the string, but the new line character is not stored in the string with this thing. So you can store the next line character into the string, but not the next line with this thing. You will see this. I'll do some of the examples in this more prevalent and later on as I review you for the final exam. If the input the string is fewer than the M character, reading will stop at the new line character with this thing. Okay, just understand the definitions for this thing, and I want to talk to you about more further details of this right now.